who are foundational to making that growth possible. Today, we are joined by Talview Dairy Farm, a third-generation dairy operation on a preserved farm in Lebanon County, owned and operated by the Copenhaver family. Their farm includes 400 acres and a milking herd of about 400 dairy cows. Representing the next generation of the family farm is Emma Copenhaver.
My name is Emma Copenhaver, and I am proud to represent my family and Talview Dairy Farm in Lebanon County. My family farm, Talview Dairy, is located on a preserved farm in Lebanon County and is owned and operated by my family and our amazing employees. Like many Pennsylvania farms, our story is rooted in hard work, stewardship, and a deep respect for the land. As a third-generation farming family, everything we have built has come from dedication, responsibility, and a commitment to doing things the right way. In 2025, we were honored to welcome Governor Josh Shapiro to our farm to celebrate farmland preservation. Farm preservation means more than protecting land. To my family and me, it represents opportunity, stability, and a future in agriculture, helping farms like ours to continue supporting our community. His visit sent a powerful message. Preserving farmland is not just about honoring our past, it's about fueling our future, strengthening rural communities, driving innovation, and ensuring agriculture thrives for generations to come. As an FFA officer, a member of the Farm Show Junior Committee, and a participant in local fairs and agricultural programs, I have seen firsthand how important leadership, education, and community support is to the future of agriculture. These investments mean a great deal to me. It shows that people believe in our future and the future of agriculture. We are deeply grateful for Governor Shapiro's leadership and for making Pennsylvania agriculture a priority. Agriculture is truly a growing nation. Please join me in welcoming Governor Josh Shapiro.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. It is wonderful to be with you. Emma, thank you for that introduction. I just want to begin by warning you, I've had 3 cups of coffee, and then Grandma Faye and I just downed like 4 milkshakes back there. So I've got some sugar in me today. I just want to say to Emma, thank you for not just your kind words. Thank you for welcoming me to your family farm in Lebanon County earlier this year as we celebrated a tremendous milestone, and that is that we are now #1 in the nation when it comes to farmland preservation. It's awesome. And you know, Emma, I take it very seriously when folks invite me to their farm. I know it is a point of pride to be able to show off what you do, and I know it is a point of pride to be able to rightly brag about the extraordinary work happening at Talview. And so I just want you to know that it means a lot that you and your family had me there, and I have taken the lessons I learned there with me as I've traveled all across this Commonwealth, including to many other farms. So I brag about you, I brag about Talview, and I brag about your folks and the multiple generations that have made that farm absolutely terrific. You know, I'm proud of what you're doing there, and I'm proud of what all of our farmers are doing, and I recognize that farming, notwithstanding its rich history, is not just critically important part of our heritage. It's also key to our future success here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And everyone who is here today and out in the hall, where I plan to spend a whole lot of time later, I want you to know that you are true partners of our administration, led by the great Secretary Russell Redding of the Department of Agriculture. I've said it before, and it bears repeating, Secretary Redding is the finest agriculture secretary in the entire nation, and we are blessed to have him in our administration and working for all of you here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. His leadership and the work he and his team do every single day makes our ag industry stronger, more resilient, and more prosperous, and we are grateful to you, Mr. Secretary. I'm honored to serve as the 48th governor of this great Commonwealth and to address you now for the 4th year in a row. You know, when I came here the week before my inauguration in 2023, I made a commitment to put agriculture at the center of my administration's work to grow our economy and create more opportunity, especially in our rural communities. We've done just that. As a result, we're investing in our farmers and our ag industry again. We're highlighting and supporting the incredible strength of ag, whether we're speaking on a farmland or we're speaking in an urban core with skyscrapers. We're addressing the unique challenges our farmers face, and we're growing and expanding this sector faster than ever before in our Commonwealth's history. That's real progress, and we're doing it by being purposeful in supporting our farmers and our ag industry. And we're doing it by bringing people together to get stuff done for our farmers. I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, we all have to work together to support our farmers. I want to thank all of the folks who are in this room who've been our partners in this work, partners to me, to the Secretary, and others. First, I want to just highlight a member of my administration who's here today, General Pippy. General Pippy is here with our farmer veterans. We want to thank you for your service and thank all of our veterans for their service. Thank you, General. I want to acknowledge some of the leaders in the Pennsylvania legislature who are here, the leaders of our ag committees in the Senate and in the House. I want to thank Senators Vogel and Schwank and Paszynski and Mal, Representatives Paszynski and Mal, who are here with us today. We all work together in a bipartisan manner to lift up ag, and I'm grateful to each and every one of you for being here. Thank you. By the way, Chairman Paszynski has more pins on than an FFA member. I don't know. You're looking good there, Mr. Chairman. I want to also thank our university leaders. I think what is so unique about our state is the way in which our universities work together with our ag interests, work together with those who support ag in the government and in the private sector. And so I want to thank our leaders of Penn State, Penn Vet, our private sector businesses, and many others who all come together to lift up ag in our Commonwealth. And most especially, I want to thank our farmers and our ag producers all across this Commonwealth who we've worked with to build on Pennsylvania's legacy of ag leadership and open up a new chapter for our future. Putting ag at the center of the conversation on economic development has made, I think, all the difference in our collective success over the last 3 years. Our state economy is strong. In fact, Moody's just reported that Pennsylvania has the only growing state economy in the northeastern part of the United States. A huge reason for that is our growing and sustained ag sector. But it doesn't take an economist to tell me that our ag sector is strong. I've seen it in person as I've spent countless hours visiting your farms and listening to your stories. At the Culp Farm in Blair County, they started construction on a new milking barn way ahead of schedule. Why? Because we processed all the permits that they needed in record time. At hardwood producers like Metzler Forest Products, or hemp growers like Cedar Meadow Farms, and potato growers like Sturm and Mosser, they were able to adopt new technologies to increase production and expand into new markets because of an ag innovation grant that they received from our administration. Colton and Zach Troyer, brothers and the 4th generation potato farmers, have taken their family's legacy farm to the next level by starting their own organic brand, Folkland Foods, because we invested in part in their vision for their future. And we proudly created the PA Preferred Organics label. I think it's on the Secretary's vest here. By the way, there will be a prize, a free milkshake, to anyone who guesses the total number of vests that Secretary Redding has. And I know the answer, and there is a bonus milkshake if you can, the special flavor this year, there's a bonus milkshake if you can figure out how he organizes them in his closet, okay? So give us, Nina, you cannot participate, all right? Nina, you're out. Everybody else is allowed, other than members of our administration who know the answer. But he's wearing that on his vest today, and we're proud of the PA Preferred Organics label that Folkland Foods, as one example, proudly displays on their products to let customers know that they source their top quality potatoes from right here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. You know, we work together to do all this work for you, all the families who take on a hard day's work to provide for their fellow Pennsylvanians and want to pass this legacy on to their children and grandchildren. I believe each and every one of you deserve a government that's working just as hard for you as you work on your land. Pennsylvania, of course, as you well know, is home to nearly 50,000, about 48,000 farms, and an especially high number of those farms are small to mid-size family farms. I think that's a huge point of pride for us and a huge point of opportunity for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Over 600,000 of our fellow Pennsylvanians work in agriculture, and ag contributes $133 billion to our state's economy each year. To ignore that, I think, is not only disrespectful to our farmers, it does not make sense economically. That's why we've embraced agriculture and put it at the center of our economic development strategy. We've made meaningful investments in ag to help our farmers get ahead and also at the same time address some of the biggest challenges you face, monetary and non-monetary. Together, we have fully funded the Pennsylvania Farm Bill and its initiatives for 3 straight years. I've noted this before, but I think it bears repeating. For a while, I was the only governor in the entire country with a divided legislature. Senate led by Republicans, House led by Democrats. Now I think there's 2 or 3 others across the country. Why do I share that with you? Because for any bill to reach my desk and be signed into law, it requires Republican votes and Democratic votes, and it requires a whole lot of common sense. It is common sense to invest in agriculture here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and we're going to continue to bring people together to do just that. In addition to fully funding our Pennsylvania Farm Bill, we've invested in the ties between our farmers and our food banks. I see some of our food bank leaders from here in Pennsylvania, providing nearly $100 million for food security and to support our neighbors who are hungry Pennsylvanians. Listen, you all produce enough food to feed every Pennsylvanian. It is morally unacceptable that there are people out there who are hungry in this Commonwealth. You, the farmers, are doing your part. Our food banks are doing their part, and now government is stepping up to do our part to connect the dots between the two. And I want to thank everyone here who does this noble work. In addition to that, we funded ACAP, the Agriculture Conservation Assistance Program, with over $82 million in state dollars to help farmers take care of their resources, improve water quality, and adopt sustainable practices. And I want to thank those farmers who are along the Chesapeake Bay area. We have moved up dramatically in our grade with the Chesapeake Bay Commission. I now serve as the chairman of that multi-state organization, and I brag about our farmers every opportunity I get because you've stepped up and done extraordinary work to protect the Bay, to protect our ecosystem, and I want to thank all of you for that work. We've also doubled down on our commitment to helping our poultry farmers whose flocks were wiped out due to high-path avian influenza. We talked about that the first year I was here, even before I was sworn in as your governor, delivering tens of millions of dollars for our state's recovery fund. And I want to be clear, we are not done yet. Secretary Redding's team has been working diligently with Penn State, and we are just weeks away from opening up our new Western Vet Lab at their Beaver campus. And I'm excited for them to do that important work to expand our state's testing capacity and mitigate future disease outbreaks. And listen, you know this, That's something folks talked about in the Capitol for years and years and years. We came together and we got it done. I'm looking forward to being there with Secretary Redding as we cut that ribbon. I'm also particularly proud of our work to create the nation's first ever Ag Innovation Fund, and initially seeding it with $10 million, and that fund has grown over time. 88 different projects across Pennsylvania so far have been funded with that Ag Innovation Fund. As I set out during my time as governor years ago, I showed up on our farms and I listened. And one of the things that became very clear was our farmers said, we need capital and we need access to better technology, and we don't know how to do that. So we thought outside the box and created this fund, first one in the nation, and we have a lot of wonderful projects that have happened as a result of this Ag Innovation Fund. On my watch, we've already driven out over $20 million for Ag Innovation, and you can bet I'll be proposing a whole lot more in this next budget next month. Because here's the thing, we cannot let up now when it comes to investing in agriculture. What we are doing is working for our farmers and our ag sector. It is growing, and I believe you all have limitless possibilities if we continue to work with you in partnership. I want to talk a little bit about that partnership that we've created and the investments that we've made. We're investing in the next generation of ag workers and ensuring that this tradition gets passed down to future generations by investing in 11 new apprenticeships and pre-apprenticeships across this Commonwealth to help train more young farmers from dairy herd management to urban agriculture. We're putting this in our schools so our young people in our high schools can create pathways to success and opportunity for their futures that run right through Pennsylvania farmlands. And despite the very real challenges I know you all face, I think we're well positioned for the future. You know how I know that? Because of folks like Emma and the fact that we have more farmers under the age of 35 than any state in the entire country. We should be proud of that. That's a point of pride and a point of opportunity for our shared future. They represent the next generation of Pennsylvanians who will further our legacy in agriculture and further grow our state's economy. And every time I'm with one of the young folks from FFA or those like Chairman Paszynski posing as an FFA member with all their pins, I just want you to know I leave their presence just feeling hopeful, just feeling optimistic, feeling bullish on our future. And so I want to thank all of our young farmers for the great work they do every single day. We've opened up new markets for our farmers with the launch of the Organic Center of Excellence and the PA Preferred Organics label I spoke about before. There is new growth, new markets, new opportunity for farmers because of that effort. And because of that work, Pennsylvania continues to be one of the top states for organic sales with more than $1 billion in organic sales this year. And by the way, we are now #1 in the country when it comes to organic mushrooms and organic poultry, another point of pride for our great Commonwealth. I also want to just take a moment and talk about permitting. We are finally now, as a state, keeping up with the pace set by our ag sector, and we are now moving at the speed of farming. We've worked hard to streamline our permitting processes and create an open line of communication for our farmers. So we, the state government, have become a help as you look to expand, not a hindrance as we historically were. Thanks to that work, agencies like the Department of Environmental Protection under the great leadership of Secretary Shirley are moving more quickly, slashing wait times, and eliminating backlogs that existed for years. I want you to note that we do not have a backlog at DEP anymore. For years, they had hundreds, if not thousands, of permits on backlog. We have none. I'll also note that about 2.5 years ago, we instituted a money-back guarantee system on our permits. If we tell you it's going to take 30 days and we don't hit that 30-day deadline, we will give you your money back. Our Commonwealth has put out more than 40 million permits during that time, and we've only had to issue 5 refunds, and not a single one has come from DEP. That's an extraordinary accomplishment by DEP, and I thank them for their great work. We went from being bottom 5 in the country, about 48th when it came to permitting time, to now being a national model for other states. Other states are now coming to Pennsylvania wondering, how did we fix our permitting process? And we're becoming a model for others. Just ask the Culps. I am mindful that as we go forward, for all the progress that we've made, all the investments that we've made on my watch, there are very real challenges that our farmers face. You've talked to me about these as we've sat around your kitchen tables or walked your farms. I know that a lack of rural broadband, we're still waiting on the feds to approve the process for driving those dollars out, creates a challenge. I know that rural health care remains a real serious threat to the vitality of your communities, and we're working on driving dollars out in a new plan to address that. I realize that those volatile markets exacerbated by the tariffs are making it harder for farmers to access new markets and to be able to pay for the basic things they need like feed and other necessities. And I recognize that there is a growing shortage of farm workers in the here and now, ready to work on our mid-size and family farms. I know these are just a few of the challenges that keep farmers up at night. And I don't want to dwell on the negatives because we've got so much positive, so much to celebrate, so many great opportunities for the future. What I want you to know is that we are your partners in seeing through these challenges and taking advantage of these opportunities. The Pennsylvania state government remains your partner in helping make progress in our ag sector and our farms all across the Commonwealth. And I want you to know you have a governor who believes in what you do, who respects the hell out of what you do every day, and you've got a governor who's got your back. I have in the past, and I will continue to in the future. I'm committed to continuing to fight for you and support you in the great times and in the moments of challenge. I want Pennsylvania to be #1 in the country when it comes to ag, and we are making progress toward that goal. And I'm going to continue to work with this great body, with each and every person here in this room and all the different industries and places that you represent, to focus on common sense, bipartisan solutions to support our farmers and our ag industry. When you succeed, Pennsylvania succeeds, and all Pennsylvanians are better off. We all know that this year marks the 250th anniversary of our nation's founding. And if you didn't know that, the butter sculpture will tell you that. This is a nation that was fueled from the very beginning by Pennsylvania farmers and Pennsylvania innovators. It's important that we gather here today to not just celebrate this great nation, the greatest country on the face of the earth, to celebrate the people that make it so wonderful, but to take a moment to appreciate the role, the legacy that our farmers have played in our nation's founding and in our nation's success over the last quarter century. Our history, our future, the next 250 years runs right through Pennsylvania farmlands, and I'm proud to be your partner in progress. Thank you. God bless you all. Enjoy the farm show. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. Please welcome Pennsylvania